So one of the main concerns people have when it comes to traveling is, how can I afford to travel? How much is it going to cost? How can I make money? How can I save money? Is it possible to travel for free? All of these things. And after 4 years of traveling, we figured out the answers, and we want to give it to you in this 3-part series about traveling and how to afford it. So here's part 1 of the series. So in this part, we want to deal with how to save and conserve money and resources.
So one of the first things you can do is actually to sell all that crap that's lying around your house. We did that. We had so many things, and we just went on a site like Gumtree or Finn.no in Norway and sold all our stuff, and we earned so much money doing that.
The thing is, if you're coming from a Western country, I mean, the typical modern lifestyle, it's an excess of things in our lives. And we tend to hold on to them, like maybe, save it for later, or we don't want to throw away anything. But the truth is, we don't really need all those things all the time. So it's better to sell it, and then you can buy it again if you need it later. So I had a bunch of microphones after studying audio engineering in London, and you had a bunch of computers, computer parts that you didn't really need. We're not going to get into what we had. We had a lot of stuff lying around. So we just sold everything and converted it to money, because that's what we needed right there and then to travel.
And you might be attached to a lot of these things, but the thing is, if you're not using it on a daily basis there and then, you might as well sell it, and if you want it again later, you can buy it at another time.
Yeah. And of course, there are certain things that have a lot of memories attached to them and stuff like that. And that's cool. Don't sell your photographs. Not that anyone would want to buy photographs anyway, probably, but you can take a few things and save it, but get real about what you really need and what you don't need. So, which brings me to my next point, which is essentially simplify your lifestyle. So get your lifestyle down to a point where you have only the things you really need, a minimalist type of lifestyle, but not only have the things you need, but actually change the way you live your life. And one of the main things is health. If you get healthy by eating a fruit-based diet, a whole food, plant-based diet ideally, by getting enough sunshine, getting enough rest, getting enough sleep, all that stuff, you're not going to stink. And there's no need for soap and shampoo and all these different chemicals that people put on their skin on a regular basis, and all these different pills and medications and vitamins, and all of those costs are going to just go out the window once you get healthy. So
Makeup, there's no need for makeup.
Yeah.
Seriously, people are pretty, people are beautiful when they are healthy.
Yeah, and when they're not healthy, they're ugly, and that's why they cover up with makeup, right? But
Pretty much.
no hate intended, but it's just reality. Get healthy and you'll naturally be beautiful. That's how it is. So make priorities, essentially. Do you really need to use all that money on your phone every month? We don't even have a smartphone. We have an old phone that we use very rarely. Do you really need to drink all that alcohol? Is that really good for you? If you want to, I guess you got to do it, but that's a way to save money. Restaurants, just simplify your life, make priorities, and suddenly you'll have a lot of money you can spend on traveling.
So at this point, you're going to want to go out and travel. So an important step would be to find the cheapest flights. And the way to do that is to go to web pages that offer like a really good overview of all the different flights all around the world, such as skyscanner.com and a few others.
And then you go in there, you find cheap flights. It's that simple. But remember things like, there's tips and tricks to remember, like for example, prices change during the week. Some people say Tuesday is the best time to book a flight. Also think about maybe constructing your own journey, not just like seeing what it has to offer, but actually thinking, what if I flew first to Hong Kong, spend a night in Hong Kong, then fly to Bangkok, and that sort of thing. So sort of construct your own flights a little bit, you might end up with a cheaper price. You gotta be creative. Another thing to bear in mind is you can save a lot of money by traveling long term rather than short term. If you're going on a short term trip, you're gonna rely on convenient hotels and you're not gonna be able to get any good deals if you're just there for a week. But as soon as you're somewhere for a month, you can rent an apartment, you can get really good deals because you're saying to the people you're renting from, like, hey, what if I stay for a month? Even at a hotel, they might give you a discount if you're staying for a month, you know? So long-term travel is better. And also remember, if you're just traveling from place to place to place to place to place, that means you're gonna fly, or a boat or bus or a new place, and that means you're gonna end up spending more money. But if you relocate and do more of a slow travel approach, it's way easier to save a lot of money.
When you're at the place you want to be, buy food at the local market. It seems like a small thing, but you can actually save a lot of money buying food from where the locals buy their own food, because if you buy food at the supermarket all the time, it's going to get really expensive really quickly. Also, as an added bonus, local food will almost always be healthiest, and it will support the local economy, and it'll be the cheapest.
And here's an important point. I see a lot of backpackers, they're hungry for adventures, so they want to do as much as possible when they're somewhere. So they go hang gliding, they go snorkeling, and they go on hikes, and everything is like organized tours, and that costs money. And I'm not saying don't do it if you're keen on doing it, but maybe focus more on doing things that are fun for free, like go running, go walking, go exploring on your own, check out the local market, get to know some local people, join a basketball game if someone's playing. I mean, so many things you can do for free, and the truth is that the difference here is that you want to get into a lifestyle rather than just a vacation. If you're going on a vacation, that's fine, but that's going to be more expensive. But if you get into the traveling lifestyle, that's a different thing altogether. You're not looking for doing as much as possible in a short amount of time as possible. You're actually just looking to live this lifestyle, which means that you'll take a long step back and you just do normal things like exercising, playing, working, socializing, just these normal things that we do in life. You don't have to suddenly do all these fancy organized tours just because you go traveling, because that can get expensive. And the last point I want to mention here on how to save money while traveling is that people think traveling is expensive. People ask us, like, oh, how do you do that? That must be such an expensive lifestyle you live. But that's ridiculous. It's quite on the contrary. It is not expensive to travel. I mean, think about it. It's much more expensive for us to live in Norway. Certainly, that's a lot of money involved living there. That's an expensive country. Whereas Thailand, Costa Rica, that's two very cheap places.
Yeah.
So the truth is, depending on how you travel, traveling can actually be quite cheap. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and if anything, it's going to be equal to what you would spend in your home country. So it's really, whether you stay home or you go traveling, expenses, they typically remain the same, all things included. So if you're interested in learning more about how to save money while traveling, you can click here and check out our latest ebook about traveling, especially focused at like ultralight, tropical, fruit-focused travel. So be sure to check that out.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, which will cover ways to make money and get resources while traveling.